Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and check this out. A hot IPO market in 2025 could fuel CFO churn. Wanted to draw your attention to this right here. Yesterday we had an article where Goldman Sachs was saying the IPO market was going to heat up. Here's JP Morgan. IPO market and M&A, we are very bullish for 2025. We think it does come back. However you say her name, head of technology investment banking at JP Morgan told Bloomberg last week, there's investor demand, he said. So I have a feeling that this whole thing is coming, folks, as far as the IPO market, and that's a good thing because my sponsor, Link2, which is linqto.com, they have private equity, everything from Ripple to AI plays like Cerebras. I think I got a message this morning. Databricks is going to be available today at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I think I got that right. Yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific. It is one of the most requested names. They're an AI company specializing in big data analytics, machine learning, data engineering, and AI. 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are their customers. That's Databricks is on there today. You can also download the Link2 app as well. It's for accredited investors, by the way. Now, check it out. Brad Combs from Digital Perspective just announced that the XRP Las Vegas 2025 tickets have gone live as of this morning. This is a big deal for a lot of reasons. Brad Garlinghouse is going to be on 60 Minutes soon. He mentions here XRP gets its crown. XRP is king. But you can go to XRPLasVegas.com. I also have a link to that in the description of every video from now until XRP Las Vegas. And what the significant, well, there's two things to me that are very significant. First of all, I keep saying, I even tell my wife this, 2025 is the year of digital assets and the year of XRP. Here's the other thing. So we've, because of the price moves and because we've got a pro-crypto administration coming in, the excitement's all there. The price is moving. I believe it's going to move a lot more in a good direction. And then on top of all of that, that's not the only thing you've got. You got XRP Las Vegas, but for the first time ever, the days for 2 or 3 days before XRP Las Vegas, it is going to be Bitcoin has moved their conference to Las Vegas. So Bitcoin Las Vegas is May 27th through the 29th. Then XRP Las Vegas is May 30th and the 31st. So there's already going to be tons of people there. And I would imagine a lot of the people at Bitcoin Las Vegas will be coming to XRP Las Vegas. The timing couldn't be better. So this thing is going to blow. It's going to blow out of the water the other XRP conferences for those two reasons. The other XRP conference last year, I think we had over 700 people there. This thing is going to blow that out of the water. This will be the biggest XRP. It's already the largest XRP conference in the world, but it'll be the largest it's ever been. I'm predicting anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 people at this one. This one will be massive. Exciting times. Check it out. So we've had a pullback in crypto, but it looks like it's starting to creep back up now. Good thing. XRP was as low as 135. Now it's almost back to 140. This XRP engine is just dying to get cranked back up. And it keeps pulling back, and then it'll go back up into the 140 plus. And you can tell that this market is just primed. I told in my group, I said I went in and bought, I accumulated some more digital asset that I mentioned in the group only. I'm going to talk more about that when I go in there. But for now, let's check this out. Brad Garlinghouse this morning said, Fairshake is the most successful multi-candidate bipartisan super PAC in American history. Electing pro-crypto, pro-growth, and pro-innovation candidates is a no-brainer. And to continue that momentum, Ripple is contributing another $25 million to Fairshake onwards. I'm sitting here having a little bit of my blue drink. Now, Eleanor Tarrant retweeted this, says, new Fairshake just informed me that Ripple's donation combined with those from Coinbase and A16Z and the funds it has left over from this election means it has now amassed $103 million for the 2026 midterms. Looks like they ain't stopping. We've almost killed the beast system, and now they're going to try to kick it while it's down. Now, the Bitcoin machine, because Bitcoin pulled back to like 92,000 something, the Bitcoin machine this morning went into full protect mode and started sending all their people out to all the media. I'll get to that in a minute, but first I want to show you another couple of things that aren't very pro-Bitcoin that were said.
I want to touch on cryptocurrencies. You've been a major critic. In fact, you talked about how cryptocurrencies are like a giant garbage dumpster at one point. I mean, with Bitcoin getting close to $100,000, how are you feeling about cryptocurrencies now?
Well, the question that I've been asking for the last 7 or 8 years continues. What can you actually do with it other than just speculating on it? I understand it's an article of speculation, and that's fine. If people want to speculate on it, that's fine. They can speculate on anything they would like. But does it actually have any utility in an advanced economy? Can you buy things with it? Do people buy things with it? At least in the US, the answer is a resounding no. Almost nobody buys anything using Bitcoin. Then it was supposed to be an inflation hedge. And then when inflation took off in the US, Bitcoin got crushed. So it wasn't an inflation hedge. So it's not a useful payment tool. It's not an inflation hedge. Is it merely a speculative asset as an instrument of speculation? If that's all it is, that's fine. People can be free to speculate on whatever they would like. But I would like us to be clear on what this is and what this is not. And I'm waiting for anybody to explain to me how it is actually useful in an advanced economy. And I just haven't.
A lot of Bitcoiners would think, oh, that's crazy. But what he's saying is actually right. There's a reason that Bitcoin eventually has only been marketed as this store of value, replace gold and all this stuff, because they know that what he's saying right there is true. This also has never made any sense to me and never will. This is a bunch of, this is a trailer park basically created to house Bitcoin miners. This is apparent. This is what we're to be sold as the future of finance, while we know all these other digital assets with real utility don't need all this garbage. This does not make any sense. I don't know if that song's copyrighted, so I'm not going to play any more of that. Then we had Senator Lumis, who I don't feel like can be trusted. She's a Bitcoin maxi. She's protected Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't trust this woman.
Well, I'm delighted to see people have taken the time to understand more about this asset. I'm delighted to see it become part of the U.S. economy, and I'm thrilled that President Trump identified it as something that we should have the beachhead for in the United States. Because thus far, under the current administration, efforts to regulate it through enforcement actions, through penalties and lawsuits, has driven this industry into the arms of other countries, including the European Union. We want to bring them back and have this industry be strong, robust, innovative, and very, very located. Because thus far, under the current...
They trotted her out. And then, hold on a second, my dad's the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel is calling me, but he knows sometimes I'm in the middle of a video and he'll call back. So the Schwab Network is predicting Bitcoin could reach 500,000 to $1 million with that strategic reserve.
For Bitcoin. So I think in the short term, we're going to see one of two cases. The first case is we're going to have some sideways action between 110 and downwards to 80, and we'll see some chop. The second scenario, and that will come either in the short term or in the medium term, is once we have the Bitcoin Act, which is currently under consideration, passed, where the U.S. government will be buying Bitcoin into its reserves, as well as other countries and other corporates for their treasury assets as well, we could see a 500K Bitcoin or $1 million Bitcoin. Sky is really the limit here.
Sky is the limit. That's a thumbnail. Sky is the limit. Okay, but I when I hear that, I'm thinking XRP the whole time. And then you want to really go to crazy land. They're talking. Natalie Brunell's talking about the case for $49 million per Bitcoin.
Gen Z, on the other hand, the swagger is there. And one thing we know, swagger is critically important to success. So I said animal spirits were at stake during this election. You remember I had the town hall and other things. And right now I can honestly say that nowhere is it more critical than with our young adults. And speaking of animal spirits, my next guest is perhaps my favorite Gen Z influencer, Natalie Brunell. Natalie, you know, I want to get your thoughts on this. Has the media portrayed Gen Z incorrectly?
Well, that's so nice of you, Charles. I'm actually a millennial, but I do think very highly of Gen Z.
Wow.
I actually used to be an adjunct professor at USC for a year, so I had many Gen Zers as students, and I agree. I think they're full of energy and optimism because they want to shake up the old system. In many ways, it really has left them behind and forced them to go into debt, and I think they want to build a future that's more inclusive and empowering. And you know what that reminds me of, Charles? Bitcoin, of course. I think both stand for many of the same values. And I actually did a whole episode on Gen Z and Bitcoin on my podcast with an inspiring young woman named Ella Huff. She's a senior at Cornell. And from what I've seen, I think Gen Z is going to rewrite the playbook on success. They're going to help take Bitcoin mainstream. And I think they will reshape the financial world for the better. And we all stand to benefit from that.
So Bitcoin, we came within shadow of 100,000, getting a little consolidation. There's some folks out there saying, hey, maybe there'll be a 20% pullback because some folks got too over leveraged. On the other hand, no, that's short term. Long term, Michael Saylor's out there saying, hey, 13 million is your target for Bitcoin. How do folks navigate the two?
Well, that's his base case, Charles. His bull case is 49 million in today's dollars.
$49 million eenies. Hey, look, I hope they're right because that will do crazy things for the rest of the market too. And then we've got, this is the Pantera Capital CEO, Dan Moorhead, and he's calling for $745,000.
You bet your
Bitcoin.
life it's not going to zero? I used to tell people it could definitely go to zero to try and be, conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it, 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. Like it really has reached escape velocity.
But you're 745,000. I mean, I heard 13 million from Michael Saylor the other day.
I think it can go. It's going up 3 orders of magnitude since we launched our fund. I think it could go up a fourth, and that puts it at 15 trillion market cap, which it still seems relatively small versus 500 trillion of financial assets. That's doable.
All right, like the sound of that. This is interesting from James Rule. Crypto firm Promethium gained an edge under Gary Gensler's SEC. Suddenly, its future appears less certain. What they need to do is look into the Chinese backing of Promethium and Ethereum if you want to right this ship. Now, this is Rand Neuner. This is worth highlighting. Anytime the market starts taking off for XRP, these usual bad guys start coming out of the woodwork. Here he is. And I'll explain to you what his problem really is with Ripple and XRP.
I'm not an XRP fan. I think that XRP is a garbage token. I think that it is a token that is owned by a centralized company, which they sell to the investors, and the investors land up buying this. The poor investors land up buying this token so the company can carry on funding its operations.
Okay, so he has a problem with a company owning a lot of a digital asset and then selling those digital assets, and then retail buys those digital assets and they use it to fund their operation. Okay, Ripple has shown you exactly what they have and all that. The problem with Rand Neuner is that Ethereum, here's the difference. Ethereum, through consensus and their foundation, they have hidden who owns the Ethereum. They've hidden who the buyers in the ICO were. It's never been exposed. They're selling the Ethereum through the foundation and through, we don't know what consensus is sold. And there's no doubt they have been funding their operations with the Ethereum because they came out and said so.
I presume that your net worth crashed a great deal. It got run up and then came came back
it
down.
did, yeah.
And were you happy in any way about that?
Relieved.
Relieved.
Yeah. So when right at the top of the big bubble, like in December 2017, when Bitcoin was hitting 20,000, ETH was hitting 1,400. I made this tweet, and a series of tweets, and that kind of became somewhat famous within the space, where I basically said, the cryptocurrency space has reached $500 billion. Does it deserve it? Like, do the things that it's actually accomplished, like hold a candle to the promises that the market is ascribing to it? And I mean, the subtext of my answer is not yet, and I was proven very right fairly quickly. And
but you didn't short it, did you?
So I did get the Ethereum Foundation to sell about 70,000 ETH, like basically at the top, and that's doubled our runway now. So, and it was one good decision that had a lot of impact, but it did not.
Okay, so there's no accountability for how much who owns from the Ethereum ICO, but he just told you he sold it to increase their runway, in other words, to fund their operation. But Rand Nooner's been, for years, he was a promoter of everything Ethereum. He had no problem with that. And I summed it up here. This same guy has never had a problem with Ethereum gang doing much worse than what he has the problem with about Ripple. It's about VC alliances, venture capital alliance. I've watched this, folks. I've watched it for years. Right now, you are seeing the same group. It's like they have talking points and they send them around. It's a venture capital alliance of all these people that have gotten behind all these different projects. Right now, the same group is pumping Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. They're pumping SWI. That's one of their new ones in their portfolio. And one or two others, and you can see them move almost in unison. And I've been watching it since 2013. I just didn't know until the Ripple lawsuit was dropped. We didn't start really looking into why. I knew it never made sense that they kept talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. But make no mistake, it's not a coincidence that the same VC type people were behind FTX that have been behind a lot of these other things. Same group. It's by design. Now, I'm going to play just a little bit of this before we go into DAIXRP.com.
That day that I decided to take on the SEC, I knew it was a big deal because I was going against the government. Yeah. But I had no idea that the community would do what it did. What's more decentralized than 75,000 holders from 143 countries? Yeah. All coming together to say, we've had enough of this government overreach and we're going to stand up and we're going to have our voices heard. We can't have these career politicians who all they care about is staying in power. And they're voting on things like artificial intelligence, automation, blockchain, crypto, robotics. Never count America out, man. We lived, look at my story, right? I went from living in the ghetto, as poor as you could be, to taking on one of the biggest Washington elites.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Hey, there's the official legend of the Digital Asset Investor channel with the greatest mullet ever.
Pretty damn sure the XRP army just punched the SEC right in the damn mouth.
Ray's been putting together some good content.
We're very proud of you, John. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your efforts, for efforts like Brad Kimes right behind us for DAI. I was curious though, sir, what was your overall experience like being in a high stakes, much anticipated documentary that we know as XRP Unleashed, now rebranded as Rigged from the Start, The War on Crypto?
Yeah, I like actually Rigged from the Start because it's not about XRP itself. You know, when this all started for me, I've disclosed XRP wasn't as big of an investment at the time that it is maybe today for me. It was more about the government overreach. It was more about not having a level playing field in a so-called free market. And so Rigged from the Start is, I think, an aptly titled thing. As far as being in it, it just shows you that you never know what life's going to do, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Very interesting stuff. Now in DAI XRP, We're going to talk more about the XRP price and what's kind of expected to happen in the coming days and weeks. And we're also I'm going to tell you more about the digital asset that I just bought in this downturn. Twice I bought it, and more about why, so that you can understand the way I think about these things. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.